Welcome to SpillHood, your spot for raw gossip, real stories, and the latest heat in the culture. Master P just pulled a move nobody expected, and it's shaking the whole industry. This is the same man who climbed from nothing to nearly $500 million, sold over 100 million records, and still hit rock bottom at one point. Everyone thought his retirement was just him taking a break, but his new interview shows it was deeper than that. Behind the gold, the tank logos, and the No Limit empire, things were cracking. His non-stop album drop started losing power, and those public retirement teasers had fans confused. Plus, switching between street music and family-friendly moves, like putting Lil Romeo front and center, left people unsure what No Limit even stood for anymore. Then the legal problems hit heavy, and everything started falling apart fast. The No Limit crew that once looked tight like family began breaking up, artists left, lawsuits piled up, and by 2003, the whole label was forced into bankruptcy. An unreal collapse for a company that was one of the biggest money machines in music just a few years earlier. But even with all that chaos, the business losses were nothing compared to the personal pain Master P had to carry.
So, I wish him the best at the coach thing. He always was a ball player, so it's second nature to him, so maybe that's, where he's supposed to be.
His struggle started early with the tragic 1990 passing of his brother Kevin, and that loss followed him for the rest of his life. And the heartbreak didn't stop there. His brother Corey Miller, known in the streets as C Murder, ended up behind bars in 2002 after a serious conviction that Master P has challenged for over 20 years. Watching his own brother locked up while he was reaching the peak of his success created a pressure most people will never understand. Master P kept fighting, speaking up for Corey's release, even helping lead protests in 2020 that pushed the case into national conversation. But in May 2022, he faced another devastating moment. His daughter, Tatiana Miller, passed away at 29 from an accidental fentanyl-related tragedy. She had been battling addiction and mental health struggles privately, and losing her hit Master P harder than anything money or fame could ever shield him from. Families from every background face painful struggles, but it hits different when the whole world is watching your life unfold. Master P chose not to hide from what happened. He spoke about it openly, pushing the message that mental health and substance issues are real and must be talked about. In his 2025 interviews, he said he's honoring Tatiana by keeping his family closer and rebuilding his bond with his son Romeo, stressing how important communication is as a father. But behind the scenes, P's own marriage couldn't survive the pressure. After 24 years, he and his ex-wife Sonia C ended their relationship, and Master P later admitted he had been covering up her struggles for years. The image that fame forces people to keep up had been crushing the most personal parts of his life, and he was fighting battles nobody saw. And while dealing with all this pain, another long-running tension kept resurfacing: his complicated history with Brian "Birdman" Williams and Cash Money Records. This wasn't the usual hip-hop back and forth or music-based feuds. This was deeper, stretching back to the streets of New Orleans where both men built their names. Master P came out of the Calliope projects in the 3rd Ward, while Birdman rose from the Magnolia in Uptown. In a city where project loyalty runs deep, these two giants lived close but came from completely different worlds. Just like Birdman once said, "We from two different projects." Birdman once said, "We ain't never had no beef, we just never vibe." But the truth behind that distance runs way deeper than a simple mismatch. Under the surface, there were darker rumors floating around the streets. Birdman's brother, Terrence "Gangsta" Williams, who had a heavy reputation, was accused of being involved in the passing of Master P's cousin Randall "Calliope Slim" Watts, something Williams denied.
Give it to Birdman, he started that stunt.
You know I started that stunt.
Well, guess what? I was uptown too, and I started.
But even without proof, the whispers alone created tension, especially after Master P had already lost his brother Kevin years earlier. Those wounds locked both camps into separate lanes forever. Then came the business drama that added even more smoke. As Cash Money started taking over in the late 90s with 400 Degrees and the Hot Boys, Birdman was out hunting for a major distribution deal. He was close to signing with Priority Records, the same company that helped No Limit explode. But according to Birdman's 2025 No Chill interview, that deal collapsed because of Master P. Birdman claimed that P told Priority, "If y'all sign them, y'all can't sign nobody else from the South." That move allegedly pushed Cash Money toward their Universal deal. Big success, but also non-stop legal headaches, including Lil Wayne's massive royalty fight in 2015. Master P brushed off the accusations later, saying it wasn't sabotage, just business competition. "We never tried to destroy each other." The new generation could really learn something from this moment. For years, people dreamed of watching these two New Orleans giants stand on the same stage, and on October 25th, 2025, it finally happened. Cash Money versus No Limit at Complex Con, marketed as a big celebration of NOLA unity. The whole setup looked like the perfect chance for peace. Snoop Dogg was back beside Master P. Juvenile was rocking with Maya X, and for a second, it felt like the past was finally melting into respect. But old tension don't disappear easy. In the middle of the event, Birdman jumped into a heated rant about former Hot Boys member Turk not showing up, then shifted into talking about loyalty issues while staring straight at Master P's side of the stage. The whole room felt the pressure instantly. And then came the clip that shut down the internet. Master P fired back with the calm confidence of someone who's been waiting years to speak his mind. It was the kind of response only an OG could deliver, and it hit with perfect timing. Later, Master P talked about the moment with full boss energy, but what came next surprised everyone. He walked across the stage, reached out, and gave Birdman a handshake and salute.
It was the perfect bro.
Yeah.
Like right there watching y'all, and I heard him, and then when you came out after the song ended and said it, I thought to myself, because I could see the crowd go bout it. They went crazy.
Whether that was a real truce or just two veterans showing respect after decades of tension, nobody truly knows. After the event wrapped up, both men went back to their own corners, but Master P still chose the high road. He said, "I knew him from day one. We have that much respect," trying to show the moment was bigger than old tension. But the internet wasn't convinced at all. People caught Birdman leaving fast right after the handshake, sparking theories that something was still off. Even Lil Wayne's absence raised eyebrows because folks kept pointing to his long-running royalty issues with Birdman, calling the whole situation suspicious. Through bankruptcy, painful family losses, a public divorce, and years of pressure between New Orleans crews, Master P never stopped pushing forward. Even while No Limit was collapsing, he was already building a new lane. In 2005, he launched Gooder Music with his son, Romeo, and later reintroduced the brand as No Limit Forever in 2010. He didn't just stay in music either. He moved into acting, showed up in films like Foolish, and produced the sitcom Romeo, which ran from 2003 to 2006. He even stepped into the basketball world again, this time as a mentor and coach, helping develop young AAU stars like DeMar DeRozan. And in 2013, he hit a major milestone. Master P became the first hip-hop artist inducted into the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame. His empire just kept expanding. He launched Uncle P's food brand, jumped into real estate with PM Properties managing over 100 units, pushed energy drinks, and even became a partial owner of the House of Glory wrestling promotion. Then in 2021, Lincoln University honored him with a doctorate, proof that street smarts and education can live in the same brilliant mind. At this point, nobody was wondering whether Master P could keep pushing forward. He'd already proven that for decades. The real question was, what major move he was lining up next? And on July 6, 2025, he shocked the whole culture with an announcement that officially closed one chapter and kicked off a brand new era. During the Essence Festival in New Orleans, Master P hit the stage and revealed that this performance would be his last in the rap game after nearly 40 years. The crowd went wild as classic No Limit faces, Silk the Shocker, Drew Hill, Carrie Hilson, and others, came together for a reunion that felt like both a thank you and a final curtain call. When he explained why he was stepping back, he kept it real. He said he was leveling up and that the music world was drowning in negativity while too many positive stories were being ignored. This wasn't about slowing down. This was about shifting his purpose into something bigger than music charts and hit singles. Even Young Bleed, one of the early No Limit soldiers, spoke on the retirement news and said it made perfect sense for where P was headed. And he was right, because in early 2025, Percy Miller stepped into a completely different lane. He was appointed president of basketball operations and head coach of the University of New Orleans Privateers men's basketball team. For a guy who once chased NBA dreams before life rerouted him into hip-hop, this was a full circle moment. Now going by Coach P, he stepped into a leadership role that blended discipline, purpose, and everything he had learned from the streets to the boardroom. Master P didn't just take over the program, he flipped it completely. He brought in 13 fresh players for the 2025-26 season and pushed through major upgrades. From a new locker room to a revamped practice gym and a huge jumbotron lighting up the lakefront arena. The whole team even got a full branding makeover and officially linked deeper into the LSU system. But for Master P, this new job ain't just about stacking wins. His mission is mentorship. He filled the locker room with Bible verses and built a culture focused on discipline, real-life skills, and building strong character off the court. He understands what many coaches forget. Young athletes need guidance from someone who's lived through real struggle and made it out. The team kicked off their season in November 2025 with an exhibition win over Sacramento State, and the energy was heavy. Even stars like Shaquille O'Neal and Mike Bibby pulled up to see this new era Coach P created. But Master P's vision stretches way past basketball. He wants to elevate the school, strengthen community pride, and inspire the next generation in New Orleans. And to prove it, he personally covered tickets for 4,000 middle school students to attend games, planting hope in kids who might one day be the first in their family to step onto a college campus. Master P even tapped into his industry network to boost the program's visibility. He reached out to artists like Lil Wayne and J. Cole about doing potential performances to help with recruiting, using his entertainment pull to shine a spotlight on a team that had been overlooked for way too long. Of course, the critics popped up fast. Some people online questioned whether he was qualified since he doesn't hold a college degree, but his supporters fired back saying his track record speaks louder than any diploma. They see him as a builder, someone who knows how to turn nothing into something big, not just another coach following the same old blueprint. Now here's where the plot twists. Remember when Master P announced he was done with music? Well, he might have bent that promise just a little. On October 25th, 2025, the same night as the Versus-style showdown with Cash Money, he dropped a surprise album. It wasn't a full comeback, more like a strategic pop-in, exactly the kind of move he's known for. This new approach shows he's not retired from the culture. He's just choosing his moments carefully, stepping in only when it really counts. He's moving like a vet who understands impact over volume. So where does that leave his empire in 2025? His net worth sits around $200 million, built from decades of smart moves and business plays that most entrepreneurs only dream about. And on top of that, he's still earning from No Limit's classic catalog, proving that vision and longevity can live in the same man. Master P stacked his wealth across a whole lineup of hustles. He built Uncle P's Spice brand, expanded his real estate portfolio through PM Properties, grabbed partial ownership in the House of Glory wrestling promotion, and invested in multiple consumer products and entertainment plays.
Remind me of like one of my uncles that they just gonna say whatever.
Yeah.
That's just a New Orleans thing. So I ain't really take it, but I'm like, bro, I've been out here already. You know what I'm saying? You started that. Or the name of that. It's nothing but me for about it. This is what I started. And I, we come from that. We come from uptown, Third Ward, Cali, They come from the Magnolia. And that's.
On top of all that, he served as New Orleans entertainment ambassador, using his name, influence, and business ties to push his city forward in a major way. His community work hits just as hard. Through the P. Miller Youth Centers and financial education programs, he's been passing down real knowledge to young people who rarely get access to this kind of game. He's showing them the same tools that changed his own life, tools that can shift an entire future if someone teaches you how to use them. But maybe the strongest proof of Master P's influence isn't what he built, it's who he inspired. Nipsey Hussle often said, No Limit was one of the models for his own independent grind. The idea of owning your masters, controlling your brand, and using major label systems without giving up your power, that blueprint came straight from Master P's playbook. Modern companies like Quality Control followed that same formula to build massive empires. And in 2020, BT's No Limit Chronicles pulled back the curtain, putting a whole new generation onto how far ahead Master P really was. The 5-part docuseries showed the journey from selling tapes out the trunk to running one of the most dominant labels of the late 90s, a label that refused to play by anyone's rules except its own. User reviews called Master P a true boss who pushed through every obstacle in his path. The documentary even helped reignite support for Corey C. Murder Miller's situation, proving that even Master P's older projects still create real impact in the world. Bet later ranked him number 28 on their list of the most influential rappers, a spot that reflects not just hits, but the way he changed how artists think about ownership and control in the industry. So what really happened to Master P? He didn't fall off, he evolved, just like he's always done. From the projects to running his own record store, from the store to launching a label, from music to movies and TV, and eventually into philanthropy and sports. Every chapter was another level he unlocked. At 55, Percy Robert Miller stands as living proof that reinvention isn't optional. It's the key to survival. The same streets that could have held him back ended up becoming the solid foundation for his entire empire. The family losses that could have broken him turned into his drive for community work and healing. and the same music industry that tried to limit him ended up watching him build his own lane and profit from it. As highlighted in the No Limit Chronicles, Master P said it best: "If I made it out the conditions that I made it out of, then you can do it." It's the story of how a real one built an empire from the ground up and never stopped leveling up. Percy Robert Miller was born on April 29, 1970, inside New Orleans' Calliope Projects, a place known not just for poverty, but for harsh conditions that shaped everyone growing up there. This wasn't an area where trouble was rare. It was part of daily life, and young Percy learned early that nothing was guaranteed. After his parents separated, his grandmother stepped in to raise him. And from that moment on, he knew survival meant staying sharp and staying driven in it. He moved through several New Orleans high schools, St. Augustine, Booker T. Washington, and Warren Easton, picking up the culture, the grind, and the spirit of a city that would later become the backbone of his entire movement. And even then, he wasn't just known for his hustle. He could really hoop, too. He played briefly at the University of Houston before making a choice that completely redirected his future, and he headed to Merritt College in Oakland to study business administration. And that detail says everything. While most rising artists were focused only on rhymes and beats, Master P was learning the business blueprint behind the scenes. He wanted to understand how real money moves, how companies operate, and how to build something powerful from nothing but hustle, discipline, and smart strategy.
Know it too late. You know, at the end of the day, to each his own. You know, maybe he had a point to where, you know, he felt like he did enough. And I remember this in the beginning, you know, it's actually like the second retirement. I think he retired semi after the last done in the beginning.
Yeah.
And came back. So you never know what's going on with people personally or what's the reason for the season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. You know, salute P, I always did.
That mindset set him apart before he even touched the industry, as he wasn't just trying to rap, he was preparing to run an empire. In 1989, everything shifted for Percy in a way nobody could have predicted. His grandfather passed away, and after a malpractice settlement, Master P received $10,000. Most young guys getting that kind of money would have spent it fast on a new car or clothes that lose value the moment you walk out the store. But P wasn't thinking small. He looked at those 10 bands and saw the foundation of a whole future that nobody else imagined yet. Instead of wasting it, he used the money to open a record shop in Richmond, California, the first major step toward the empire he would eventually build. Running that store taught him the real game, what people were buying, what the streets were feeling, and how to move culture while stacking revenue at the same time. He wasn't just selling music, he was studying customer behavior and learning the business from the inside out. But life wasn't finished testing him. In 1990, Master P faced one of the hardest moments of his life when his brother Kevin passed away. That loss hit him deeply and pushed him to escape the dangers around him. He later explained how that tragedy gave him a stronger purpose. He wasn't chasing success for himself only, but for the people he cared about who were stuck in tough situations with limited opportunities. By 1991, the Richmond record shop had evolved into something much bigger. No Limit Records was born, and right from the start, Master P made a move that separated him from every other artist of that era. He rejected the major label deals being thrown at him. While many performers were signing contracts that looked good up front but left them broke later, Master P refused to give up control. He wanted ownership, freedom, and the ability to build something that would last. Master P figured out something early that most artists never learn. Ownership is the real power. His first releases didn't explode instantly, but they traveled through neighborhoods, car stereos, and word of mouth until he built a loyal following in both the Bay Area and New Orleans. He wasn't chasing fast fame. He was building a base strong enough to survive anything the industry threw at him. In 1990, he put out his first project, a cassette called Mind of a Psychopath. It didn't go mainstream, but it was his official entry into the game. A year later, he dropped his first solo album, Get Away Clean, under In a Minute Records, marking his shift from running a record shop to becoming a full recording artist with real momentum. Then 1992 brought True, the group featuring Master P, his brother Corey C. Murder Miller, and his brother Vishon, Silk the Shocker Miller. This wasn't just a rap group, it was family linking up to climb out of tough circumstances together. They weren't just making music, they were building a united front. But the move that changed hip-hop forever came in 1995 when Master P locked in a distribution deal with Priority Records. And this was where his business skills truly showed out. Instead of taking a standard contract where labels own everything and artists get a small percentage, Master P negotiated one of the most legendary deals ever seen. He kept 85% of every sale and held full ownership of his masters, a move so ahead of its time that business professors still point to it as a blueprint on how to protect your brand and control your destiny. This deal didn't just help Master P, it shifted the entire structure of independent music. Let this sink in for a minute. In an industry where most artists lose control of their work, Master P did the exact opposite. He used Priority's distribution strength to get his projects placed in stores across the country, but he kept the majority of the profits and complete ownership of his music. It was a power move almost nobody else had the vision or courage to make. That same year, No Limit shifted its headquarters from the Bay back to New Orleans, returning the operation to the city that shaped P from the beginning. With in-house producers, Beats by the Pound crafting a signature sound, No Limit evolved from a small underground movement into a full-force Southern powerhouse. Then the breakthrough hit. In 1996, Master P's fifth solo album, Ice Cream Man, went platinum, led by the chart-climbing single Mr. Ice Cream Man. And he wasn't just dominating music. That same year, he wrote, directed, and produced his first movie, I'm 'Bout It. Shot on a modest $1.5 million budget, it ended up grossing over $16 million. Suddenly, Hollywood had no choice but to pay attention to the entrepreneur from the projects who refused to follow the system. But 1997? That was the year everything went next level. Ghetto D dropped in September and shook the whole industry, selling more than 760,000 copies in the first week and eventually surpassing 6.6 million units worldwide. The album featured Make 'Em Say a platinum hit that secured an MTV VMA nomination and turned into the undeniable anthem of the late 90s. By 1998, Master P wasn't just successful. He was controlling the entire landscape, setting trends and proving that independence could win at the highest level. Master P's run hit legendary status when MP Da Last Don debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, eventually moving more than 4 million copies. His movie I Got the Hookup flipped a tiny $1.6 million budget into $29 million worldwide, proving once again that he could turn almost anything into gold. He even signed Snoop Dogg to No Limit, dropped the No Limit clothing line, which went on to pull in over $200 million by 2001, and built a brand that had the entire industry watching. And let's talk numbers for a second, because 1998 was unreal. No Limit Records brought in around $480 million in a single year. Nearly $500 million from a man who started with 10 grand and a dream in a small Richmond record shop. The scale of what Master P created is hard to even process until you step back and really think about it. By the early 2000s, No Limit had sold more than 100 million records worldwide, forcing major labels to rethink how business was done. His model of ownership, control, and creative independence became the blueprint that modern powerhouses like Quality Control would later follow. And even while leading a music empire, P still chased another dream. He earned preseason opportunities with the Charlotte Hornets in 1999 and the Toronto Raptors in 2000. Even if he didn't make the final roster, the fact he got that far while juggling movies, albums, and business deals showed just how unstoppable his ambition really was. Master P proved you don't need to compromise your soul to win. You just need a sharper mind, a bigger vision, and the courage to take risks most people wouldn't dare to try. But like every empire in history, nothing stays untouched forever. And the same unstoppable hustle that built No Limit was about to face challenges from the outside and deep within his own life. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.